A milestone for a Vancouver ride-sharing company. HitchPlanet has reached more than 1 million kilometers traveled in Western Canada and is now planning to expand across the country. And joining us now with more are the co-founders, Flo Devilen and Luke Burden, both joining us from our newsroom today. Thanks for being with us, Flo and Luke.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so tell us about the idea behind HitchPlanet and what it is.
So it all started in 2010 when I moved here to Canada, and I was traveling the Sea to Sky a lot for skiing. And there were a lot of people hitchhiking on the side of the road. And after taking a few, I realized there was a bit of a challenge with transportation in this part of the world. So I thought, there's got to be a better way to do this than standing on the side of the road. So I created a quick site that helped people essentially rideshare on the Sea to Sky. It's now 6 years later, and we've got 36,000 members that have shared over 1 million kilometers.
Incredible. So basically, it's ride sharing for long distances.
Yeah, that's right. So typically, if you'd be traveling on a weekend trip, say to Kelowna or Whistler or somewhere on the island, you'd be able to use our service. You would post your extra seats, and then people would be able to join your journey and contribute a bit towards your cost of gas and operating your vehicle on that route.
All right, and Luke, maybe you can explain to us how it all works. You basically you go onto the website, and how do you actually go about getting a ride?
Sure, yeah. So we have mobile apps, an Android app and an iOS app, and a website. So you can take your pick as to how you use the service. Typically, if you were looking for a ride, you would jump on and you would do a search for, say, Vancouver to Whistler or Vancouver to Kelowna, at which point you would see all of the options coming up, and you can take your pick. You can look through, have a look at the different drivers that are going, the different timings, and then you would basically book your seat through the platform. Maybe you need 2, maybe you need 3, you're going with friends. And then at that point, the driver gets a request, and it would just say, would you accept this person to come with you? And they have the choice to then review your request and your profile and say yes or no.
Interesting. And so then do you cover gas costs together? How does that work?
That's actually just built in. So the driver can set a price within reasonable bounds. We cap the price to keep things fair, and we have a minimum price, and basically beyond that point they can work out what they need to help cover their costs.
All right, now you said you launched 6 years ago. I mean, that's incredible. That's already been going on for that long. Tell us how the activity has been in those 6 years.
Yeah, so the first 4 years it was a side project of mine, so it wasn't something that I was working on full time. But then after 4 years, the platform reached 10,000 members. And at that point, I thought, it was operating on the Sea to Sky. It could probably operate on other routes as well. So that's when Luke here joined me, and we decided to expand the platform beyond the Sea to Sky into the rest of BC. And now we've got 1 million kilometers shared on, here in British Columbia. So we're keen to expand in other areas of Canada and maybe in other parts of the world later on.
What motivates you to do this?
I think our common thing with Luke is that we're really passionate about 2 things. One of them is travel. We've traveled a lot throughout the world, and we've had some incredible experiences with people that were really inspiring to drive us to keep going. And then the second is tech. We're both tech guys, and we love to use technology as a means to an end, not as a means in itself. So in this case, it's cool because it's helping people meet and connect in the real world, and we think that's a really neat way to use technology in this day and age.
Yeah, it certainly is. And there's, I guess, also an environmental perspective as well. If you have 4 people in a car that are coming together and they wouldn't normally do that, you're taking another 3 vehicles off the road.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a win-win-win for the environment, for drivers who are saving costs, and for passengers who need to get around and can do so very affordably using this platform.
Now, it's amazing. You've reached this milestone of 1 million kilometers, but what's next? I mean, what are your hopes for the future?
So the hope is to expand to the rest of Canada this year and in the beginning of next year. And that's a bit of a challenge for us because it means that we have to grow pretty rapidly. And then once we've proven that we can grow on routes in the rest of Canada, then we're looking at other markets, the States and maybe abroad as well.
Are there services like this available in other countries? I imagine in Europe it might be used quite highly.
Yeah, so there's a really big prominent platform in Europe called BlaBlaCar. To give you an idea of the potential of HitchPlanet here in North America, you can look at BlaBlaCar and how well they've done. They have over 25 million members now, and they operate in, I think, over 20 countries. So it becomes a real means of travel once it achieves, critical mass.
You must be proud, though, of how far the 2 of you have gotten already. I mean, considering that for the first 4 years it was just a side project.
Yeah, I think most good projects start off as a side project because those are the projects that you're really passionate about. And then if they work, then you can turn them into really great companies. If you look at the bigger companies out there, that's kind of how they started and grew beyond that.
All right. Well, we wish the two of you much success. That is Flo and Luc joining us from our newsroom today. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.